Hello drummers, it's me Rob from drumstheword.com to celebrate the launch of my new Drum Masters DVD pack, which is 11 DVDs worth of video drum lessons just like this one. You can find a link beneath this video if you want to check it out. I want to go over some more of my favourite drum beats and licks, this time taken from the song Aenema, I think that's how you pronounce it, by Tool, drummed by the monstrous Danny Carey. And the first thing I want to look at is the drum beat that occurs at 14 seconds into the song. You can download the notation for this lesson from my website. There's a link beneath this video as well, so you might want to have it out in front of you because some of this is quite complicated. But let's take a look at the first drum beat first that occurs 14 seconds into the song. So the time signature is 12/8, and what that simply means is there are 12 eighth notes to the bar, or how I like to think about it is 4 groups of 3. Imagine a bar of 4/4 and the tempo is around 121 BPM. And we can simply subdivide that into groups of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however you want to count it. But that's what we're feeling, the 12 eighth notes per bar. And if we take a look at the first drum beat and really simplify it down to its basicness, what the right hand is doing on various toms, and be moving around the kit, but to start off with, just keep it on the floor tom, is we're playing every second note, starting on the first note, and we're playing every 2 notes. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So we're playing a note, skipping an eighth note, and then playing the next one. So it goes across the grain of the groups of 3 in a kind of quirky way, like a quarter note triplet would. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The left hand back beat is going to play on the snare drum on like that imaginary beats 2 and 4 of that 4/4 bar. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the backbeat's kind of basic left hand on the snare drum. But against this grouping of 2 here with the right hand, it kind of goes a bit weird. So very, very slowly, it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next thing we want to do is be able to move the right hand to the various toms that Danny uses. Now I've got a 4 tom setup here. If you haven't got a 4 tom setup, then use whatever toms you like. But this is the orchestration that Danny uses. He starts on the floor tom for the first note, and then moves to the second floor tom for the next 2 notes, then up to the high tom for 1 note, then the medium tom for the last note before the snare drum. So we actually get this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Next thing we can do is add in the bass drum. We're not going to double it up to start off with, but we've got to put in some bass drum notes there. So the first bass drum note occurs, like I said, we're not going to double it up yet, but it occurs on beat 2 of the first group of 3. So we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. The second bass drum note is going to fall on the 3rd note of the second grouping, so we get 1, 2, 3. Start from the beginning of the bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's really complicated when you slow it down like this, but hopefully what you'll do is how I did it as well, is when you start to speed it up very gradually, it becomes muscle memory. You don't have to think about it too much, hopefully, because having to think about where you're going with all this is a little bit complicated. But once you've learnt the pattern off by heart, hopefully your arms will just be able to do the motion for you. So the final thing I want to do before we double up the bass drum note is talk about adding in a little left-hand ghost note. This is what Danny does. On the second note of the 3rd grouping, between the high tom and the medium tom, and the right hand moves there to there. So we get 1, 2, 3, and that last snare drum is played loudly. So we get 1, 2, 3, 1, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Of course, you could leave out that little ghost note. You could just play dum, dum, dam if you wanted to, but Danny keeps it in. So let's try and play what we got so far. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Final thing is to double up the bass drum note on the second note of the first grouping. So we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 1, 2 and 3, 1, 1, 2 and 3, 1. And I like Danny uses the double bass drum pedal for this. 1, 2 and 3, but of course you can play it single-footed. 1, 2 and 3, 1, which we'll go over in a second. So slowly the whole bar in total. This is what Danny plays. We're just playing it much, much slower. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That's the basic beat. Next thing that Danny does is he adds in his hi-hat foot, which we'll go over now. So this next idea occurs 37 seconds into the song, and if it wasn't challenging enough already, what Danny does is he now starts to step the hi-hat foot every second eighth note, just like he was doing with the right hand. So we've got this against the grain kind of pulse, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, which happens to fall with the right hand pattern on the toms. So we get Next thing is we have to try and incorporate the double bass drum pedal into that pattern, and I'm not sure quite how Danny does it. I'm not sure if he does use a double pedal, but if you look at the notation, you'll see that it is possible to be able to move your hi-hat foot from the hi-hat pedal to the auxiliary bass drum pedal and then back again. It's a motion that is possible to learn. I'm not sure if Danny does it that way. He could play it single-footed like I'm about to now. This is how I would play it, playing it single-footed instead. So once I start incorporating that hi-hat foot, I move to single pedal for the bass drum pattern. So the basic pattern without the hi-hat foot, and then with the hi-hat foot we kind of get this. Let me sort of build myself up for it. Here we go. A bit faster. I find that kind of stuff really difficult, and Danny, it just makes it sound so easy. What's really difficult, I think, is be able to go from the first pattern without the hi-hat foot, and then keeping the groove going, and then just incorporate that hi-hat foot effortlessly, start stepping on the quarter note, if you like. It's a really impressive technique, but yeah, if you can't do that kind of stuff, you can of course leave it out. Right, let's take a look at the next drum beat, which occurs 1 minute 33 into the song. So later in the song, Danny moves to a more conventional drum beat using the hi-hat, snare drum and bass drum rather than the tom-toms. We're still feeling it in 12/8, i.e. 4 groups of 3. But what Danny does now is he likes to split the bass drum and hi-hat up into groups of 2. So we're playing this pattern, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, through the triplets. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Starts with the bass drum. And help to sort of ground the beat, make it sound a little bit more familiar to the ears, he puts the backbeat back in on the beginning of the second group of 3 and the fourth grouping of 3, which happens to fall with the hi-hat. So we get this: 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Which is a really cool drum beat on its own. Move on right there. But what Danny likes to do is spice up a little bit more, and he opens the hi-hat every fourth note. So we've got this polyrhythmic effect where the hi-hat is opening and closing every fourth, eighth note. So rather than me just go through every single one on the notation, which will take a little bit of time to say in words, it's probably easier if I just show you what I mean. So you can see that, for example, the first opening of the hi-hat occurs on the beginning of the second grouping of 3, which falls with the snare drum. So we get this, and it closes with the bass drum. By the way, every time the hi-hat opens, it's gonna open when the hi-hat falls, when the right hand it gets played every second note. That's the pattern the right hand and the hi-hat foot are playing through the drum beat. So what I did with this and to learn it is I just literally read it note by note, and that's probably the easiest way for yourself to get it to start off with. So if we very slowly play through the first 2 bars, we get this. And notice at the end of that bar, Danny plays a little splash cymbal. You could use a crash like I did there, or the bell of the right cymbal, doesn't really matter. But that last hi-hat note is played up on the crash cymbal or splash cymbal. Do that again for you. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. A bit faster. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And sort of up to speed. But that's not quite all the story. What Danny does is actually starts the first opening of the hi-hat just before the beginning of the bar I've notated for you, which actually opens the very last hi-hat note just before beat 1 of the first bar I've notated. That's where the first hi-hat occurs, the first hi-hat opening occurs. So we actually get an extra hi-hat note opening just before the first 2 bars we just went through. So if we sort of practice going into it, we get something like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1. So we get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Really cool. The next 2 bars, the hi-hat is perhaps a little bit more, we're not using the hi-hat to create a polyrhythm. I'll just run you through the first half of the first bar. We get 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So we get 1, 2, 3 on the hi-hat with the right hand being played in the second grouping of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The bass drum's still playing every third note, so it comes down with that second hi-hat note. The second grouping, second half of the bar, we get bass drum and then the right hand plays a double. So in the space we play, in the space that we played the one note, we're playing 2 notes. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Then the second, the last grouping of 3 is 1, 2, and then we do get an open hi-hat, 1, 2, 3, which closes when the bar gets repeated, so this pattern gets repeated. So very, very slowly, that first bar, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and it just loops. So very slowly, all 4 bars together sound like this. Notice how that bass drum is just driving all the way through. Let me try that a little bit faster now. Up to speed, in fact. What's the tempo? 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Roughly. All right, let's finally end it with the last part I want to look at, which occurs 2 minutes 52 into the song. So this last part is much easier for me to show you rather than to explain using words with the notation. So that's what I'm going to do to start off with. The hands are playing something relatively simple. We're playing 1 note here, 2 notes here, then both hands together on the snare drum and medium tom here, then back 2 more notes on this floor tom here, and then the pattern repeats. So we're getting this with the hands. And the bass drum, the double bass drum pedal, is filling in the gaps, creating triplets. So we're playing 3 evenly spaced notes for every hand note being played. And of course you could use single pedal if you wanted to. But Danny plays it double bass drum. So it naturally accents that first low floor tom and then the backbeat snare drum and medium tom. And that's the basic pattern, but in order to write it and notate it, it looks really complicated, but it's not really when you actually start playing it. What Danny is doing is we're feeding the group of the 12/8, and we're feeding every second note, so like if you like the quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's the pulse our hand is playing. Oh. And what we're doing then is just filling in smoothly over the top of that with the bass drum feet. So we get this. Out of time slightly, wasn't I? 3, 4. Wow, that's hard to play with a click. Should have practiced that a little bit more before pressing record. But that's basically how you're feeling it, and that's the sort of tempo, the speed that we're playing those notes. Whew. So there you go, that was a tricky one. Hope you found it fun and enjoyable though. Lots of cool stuff you can take out from this. Again, if you want to check out my Drum Masters DVD pack, please do follow the link beneath this video. Go check it out. 11 DVDs worth of amazing, I think, video song lessons and drum charts and ebooks and all that kind of cool stuff that I like to offer. And you can download the free PDF for this as well, so go check that out if you wanted to have that in front of you during this video drum lesson. Until next time, I see you. Happy drumming to you.